Hey everybody, it's Regan Sample, Longmont real estate agent, and today I'm with Diane Crist. She's a candidate for Longmont City Council at large. This year there's 10 candidates, 3 for mayor, 6 for at large, there's 2 seats, and then Ward 2 is running uncontested. I've invited all the candidates to come in and talk to the residents to tell us about themselves, why they're running, what we can expect if they win, and I've given them all 10 minutes. And I'll just go ahead and get started. And Diane, thanks for taking the time and tell us about you and why you're running.
Well, thank you for having me, Regan. I think this is a great forum for candidates and also for the city. I think it's a very helpful service you're doing here.
Great.
And let's see, I'm a second generation American from an immigrant family. It's kind of an interesting story. My family came through Ellis Island and got conscripted to work for Colorado Fuel and Iron. And I say conscripted because they had to work off their travel to Colorado. Wow. And everything was owned by the company, their housing, the grocery. And so this is actually part of Colorado history. At some point, the miners there asked for 10% above what they were making just so that they could keep some money and an 8-hour work week. And tensions ensued, and they got thrown out of their houses, and then the National Guard got called in, and there was gunshots fired and
wow.
what have you. It's known as the Ludlow Massacre. You can look it up. But after that, my grandfather was one of the first to have a private grocery store, an independent one that started. And that was kind of our first foray as a family into business. And that's been a theme in our family ever since. Small business is independence and it's freedom. Yeah. So anyway,
that's interesting. Like, I haven't known anyone that's had that kind of a experience. Like with the answer, that's interesting. So
yeah. So I'm a small business accountant. So and that's what I've done for 26 years. So it was homegrown.
Awesome. So that's a little bit about you, and then tell us what made you decide to run for council.
Well, I want Longmont to get on board with the Hyperloop. It's a high-speed, magnetic powered levitation passenger pod service, and Colorado is one of 4 areas that was that won an award, if you will, to be one of the 4 areas in the United States to have this Hyperloop. And initially, Longmont was on the plan. There was a spur for Longmont on the plan, and now, for some reason, Longmont's not on the plan.
Huh.
And we need to find out why and make sure that we are in that. It's like building a railroad. We can't have that pass us by. It's going to be the next wave of transportation.
Sure. So I guess that's a good segue into the next question I have for you is asking all the candidates, and so tell us, what do you see as the biggest challenge or biggest issues facing the city right now, in your opinion?
Well, you may occasionally hear about housing or attainable housing, and I see that really more as a transportation issue. I mean, think about, they're saying on the Hyperloop it's 9 minutes from Fort Collins to Denver. Now you can live where you can afford and work where you're needed with the Hyperloop.
Sure.
So that solves a variety of problems. For one, the attainable housing, the high density development that some people are unsatisfied with. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there you go. So housing is definitely one that people have been talking about, and that's for sure. Mm-hmm. So let's fast forward a few weeks. We're in the first week of November. Election day is Tuesday, November 2. Results come in. Let's assume you win. You're one of the at-large candidates. What can the residents of Longmont expect from you as the council member?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of my biggest strengths is I'm very good with money, and something I've done for 26 years is teach small businesses how to fully utilize their funds, especially for expansion. And this is true for public entities too, and I've had public entities I've worked with, because the thing with public entities is they don't always plan for the downturns. They somehow think sales tax is always going to go up, property taxes are always going to go up, but when we have downturns in the economy, then they are surprised to find that they don't have the funds that they had planned. So I've worked with public entities too. The last one I worked with, I was in a negative cash position. And by the time, in 2 years after working with them, they had about $1.5 million in the bank again. So it's just about proper usage of funds and being a good steward of tax dollars. I'm extremely well aware that tax dollars are other people's hard-earned money.
Sure.
And it's important to keep that in mind when you're when you're working with it or spending other people's money.
Sure. Well, you just made me think of an executive of a company I had worked for. He'd always talk about put hay in the barn. When you have a good bumper harvest, make sure you're saving some for later. It seems like that's kind of what you're referring to. Some of these, like, the good times aren't always going to be the good times. You have to plan, appreciate the best, plan for the worst.
Exactly.
So, well, I know what it takes to run for office. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. There's a lot going on. What is it about Longmont you like so much to make you bother to do this?
The thing I've always liked about Longmont is the farmland. When my family came here, we wanted to farm. So this was kind of the American dream, to move to Boulder County, the most productive county in the state. Okay, but it's more than that. It's the cowboy culture that comes along with it. And I'm really big on building our village back. And one of the things about the cowboy culture is, I like your metaphor, it's about plowing your own field the way you like it, and that's your field to plow as you like. But flood comes through, your neighbor's going to be there to help you sandbag. Fire burns down your house, they're going to let you come stay with them. It's that neighborliness, that strength, that resilience that Longmont has always led with, and has, that's what makes Longmont what it is, I think.
Sure. You just remind me, just a few days ago was the anniversary of the floods from September 13. Mm-hmm. And I think we all saw a lot of that, of neighbors checking on each other and how do we, rebuild as a community. So here, let me get our timer back up here. Here, I'll let you reset that for us. Is that our minute? So we have just a couple minutes left.
Okay.
And I'll just turn it to you. Anything else that you want to make sure people of Longmont know about you as a candidate, what you stand for, what you think you would bring to the table? We've got about 3 minutes, and I'll let you just go with it.
Well, I've heard people say that we can never have our village back because we're at 100,000 citizens. But I believe we can, and we will. And I think one of the things that we can do to build that is to focus on what makes a city healthy, what makes a society healthy. And like I said, we've always worked on a cowboy culture here, wildly independent, resilient, self-sufficient, but people that will bend over backwards to help others. And my husband and I were on a military tour for about seven years. It was actually an assignment, a military assignment. And when I came back, I said to my husband, the thing is, we've been going everywhere. We moved 11 times in 6 years, and we've gone everywhere and helped everyone we could. And now I just want to help our village. I want to do something here, something memorable and necessary. And to me, that's the Hyperloop. I think that's the next big stage in our development as humans. So
there you go. So the difference on a different approach on housing, you get the Hyperloop, then you're back in town. You've seen, like, when you were gone, and some changes, I'm sure, in that 7-year period. Mm-hmm. So, well, thanks for taking time to come in and talk to us and talking to residents about what you would prioritize on some of the issues that you see facing the city, and a little bit about you and your background and where you're from. So check out more about Diane. You can learn more on her website. You can learn about all the candidates on the City of Longmont website. Most importantly, get involved, be registered to vote, and don't forget that ballots go out on the 11th of October. So mid-month, be looking in your mailbox. Get informed, learn about the candidates, send them questions to their websites and their Facebook pages, and don't forget to vote by Tuesday, November 2nd. So thanks again for taking the time.
Thank you, Regan.
Thanks for watching.